co-authored 3 books. A romance novel called Twilight. And 2 kind of psychic spy books. What are they called?
Signet is one.
And Just in Time is the other one.
Yeah. They think you were joking about Twilight because they don't get that that was actually the name of the book.
Whatever they thought worked.
The
No,
original.
the book was called Twilight, yes.
Had nothing to do with vampires.
It's funny.
A little blood sucking was happening, but yeah. Go ahead, Al.
My name is Bradley, but I'm the son of George. Thus I may ask a question. And first I want to say I forgave Lando before actually Empire Strikes Back ended, because I figured get choked by a Wookiee, that's punishment enough. And he shot stormtroopers. He tried to throw him this. But my question is, so beginning of Jedi, we see how R2-D2, we see how Leia and them all and C-3PO get into Jabba's palace, get set up there. We don't really have a scene where Lando Calrissian gets set up as his mercenary job, like, his job interview. Did he have to fill out a form? Did they take his background insurance? And he's like the single most charming, good-looking man in the galaxy. How did they not recognize this? Like, there's an incredibly handsome man applying for this job. Another day. Get me another one of those pig men.
What?
He was wearing a mask, so that helped. He was just commenting about how upset he was that you did not have a scene in Return of the Jedi to show how you snuck into Jabba's palace. So he was just commenting that he wanted to see more of you doing your thing in Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
We'll get on that. It'll be in the extra special edition that George is having out next year.
Thank you for the sentiment.
Yes. Yep.
Hi, my name is Trevor. I was wondering, because yes, Lando Calrissian is one of the coolest characters in the Star Wars universe, and how much of you did you have creative control in inputting into the character?
Well, I suppose I had a kind of a reputation at that point in movies as a kind of romantic figure. That was what was considered when I was hired. I mean, I had this presence. So I tried to use it as much as I could. And so I think it was a kind of a mix. That I was given things about the character, script-wise. But of course, when you're when you're tackling a character, when you're trying to put a character together, you bring your thoughts and ideas into it. And, it was pretty obvious. I mean, to me, he seemed to be a bit of a swashbuckling kind of a guy. And I was thinking about people like all the people I remember in movies and growing up as a kid, like Errol Flynn and Douglas Fairbanks Jr., whom I had actually worked with once in a movie we shot in Paris many years ago, on the Eiffel Tower. So a lot of those guys that I remember in movies as a kid growing up, Valentino. My mom used to talk about Valentino, and she used to swoon over Valentino all the time. So I always said, yeah, I'm going to be like Valentino. So, yeah, well, it's a combination of things. A combination of what's being presented and what you bring to it. And I love For me, I never, again, as I said earlier, I never liked playing the usual kind of cliche kind of approach to the character. I wanted to bring something really different. You know, I usually take, I always say I take this idea and I take this idea and I throw it into a third point of view. So I'm always looking to do that. I don't know if I'm really answering anything that you asked.
Well, Billy, elaborate or continue on that thought process with everything you just said about creating a character, not just Star Wars. In your overall career, is there a scene in any movie that you've done where you're like, yes, I nailed it, and you would watch it 100 times again because you loved everything you did? Or vice versa, was there ever a scene that you did that went, man, if I had one more take, I would have done it this way?
Well, it's usually if I had one more take. I'm never satisfied with it. It's you know, it's like ongoing.
The craft just continues.
Even if after you've done it, you know, I'll spend like days and weeks thinking, geez, my God, I never go see anything I've done. You know, because I know just I become too self-critical.
That's why they're all here, because they all see what you've done. And they all love it.
Hi, my name is Sean, and of course, you're awesome as Lando, awesome as Harvey Dent.
But I know, before you go on, I did nail it. I mean, when I did Lando, I said I nailed this character. There's no question about it. I said, no, I really believe that nobody else could have presented that character with as much charm and panache, or whatever you want to call it, the way I did it. I don't think there's anybody who could have pulled it off.
I agree. I think coming in, into the movie, everyone's eyes, I think, are drawn away from Han and Leia when he came on screen. I mean, that's my opinion. I really do. I remember seeing it when I was little, going, he was the first Empire Strikes Back figure I had, was Lando. So, what about you guys? What do you think? Yes? No? Maybe?
Yes.
See? He did it right. Yes, sir.
So I was just going to say, I loved you playing Gale Sayers and Brian Song. Awesome. But I was just going to ask, what was your most challenging role that you've done in your career? And what would be the funnest role that you've had in your career?
Well, it's all a challenge. Well, every character is a challenge to me. Of course, a lot of the stuff I did on stage, on the New York stage, one in particular, Martin Luther King, I did essentially a one-man show with a chorus. That was a real interesting, challenging experience. One, because I didn't try to imitate him. That's usually the usual way for an actor to go, to try to emulate the character. But I thought of the character as every man. And through that tunnel, that vision, I became more and more the character.
All right.
It was a very, very challenging experience.
Guys, we have time for one more. Okay, we have time for one more.
But most of the stuff on stage, I would say the stage stuff that I've done in my years have been challenging, really, really challenging characters. There was one character I played. It was a play called Slow Dance on the Killing Ground. It was a three-character play. And that character, Randall, he was like a Hamlet character. And that was one of the most challenging. If you ever get a chance, if you like reading plays, look for it and read it. It's a very good script. William Hanley wrote it.
Okay. So before we take the last question, I want to remind everybody, bdwworldart.com, that's Billy's website, check out his art. Also, if you guys have other questions, if you want to come down to the autograph area in line, he's happy to talk with you at the table for a couple of seconds, so don't feel left out. Also, if you are on Twitter, follow Billy. It is RealBDW. That is his Twitter account, so follow him. He'll invite you to his house and have a party. And then if you're on Facebook, Billy does have a fan page on Facebook, so you can go and like it, and there'll be updates on where he'll be on TV and conventions and stuff like that. So please check all that stuff out, okay? So we're gonna have the last question. It better be a good one, because the pressure's on, right? Where is the last mic? Who's got it? Okay, the pressure's on now.
It's very clear. Our love is here.
When you were approached to do Lando Calrissian, was there anyone else that...
May just be passing fancies, and in time may go. My dear, our love is here. We're going a long, long way.
It's a short one.
Yeah, was there anyone else approached to do Lando before they came to you?
No! Give it up for Billy D!
May the force be with you.
And only 4 minutes left on my camera.